Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Julia Carlson. She is a financial expert, speaker, and author, founder of Financial Freedom Wealth Management Group. Welcome to the show, Julia.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll be talking about redefining one's relationship with money. But before we come to this, let's understand a bit about your journey, Julia, so that people can learn about, a lot of things from your journey itself.
Sure. Well, the money business has been my only career. I started out in the banking channel when I was 19 and then started my own business when I was 23. So my parents had a very healthy relationship with money. They taught me about money. They taught me about investing. And as a because of that, I just fell into this business and love it. And I love help people uh, examine their relationship with money, grow their wealth, navigate all of the investments in the stock market landscape out there, and just really help people pursue their life dreams. And money, it takes money to do that in most cases.
Absolutely, it takes money to do that. Now, to understand a bit about money, Julia, uh, in the relationship with money, who is has the upper hand in that relationship? Does money has the upper hand, or an individual has the upper hand in defining that relationship?
Well, that is the question. So, my hope is that we have mastery over money, and money simply becomes a tool, a resource, a power assist to what we want to manifest and do in our lives. But what I have found as a financial advisor for over 25 years and helping, hundreds of people is that we often start out with money having the upper hand. And so I think as we learn, as we lean in and understand our relationship with money, how money works, how we work with money, our money history, then we start having that mastery over money. So,
Right, mastery over money. You talked about, you have a book called Money Loves You. We'll come to that separately, but I want to understand. Wonderful. Yeah. So when you say money loves you,
yeah.
then is it really so? People generally have the impression that however hard you work, you will not be able to work and earn enough. The money attracts money, and that is why the rich get richer and they continue to multiply their wealth, whereas people who do not have that much of amount of money do not have that much of control or a healthy relationship with money. How, what does do you actually mean that money loves you, or how do we understand it in terms of when others say that money loves money, money attracts money?
Yeah. So I think the whole idea behind Money Loves You is that it money is going to be a mirror and it attracts back what we put into the reflection. And so, a lot of us have a strong perspective around money. So whether you believe money loves you or not, either way, it's going to manifest more of that into your life. So if we believe that money loves you, and really believe it, then it builds that abundance mentality. It builds that wonder and possibility where if you feel like money's against you, and I have heard this over and over, I'll never be good with money. Money hates me. I hate money. Like all of those comments will magnify those negative thoughts. And it starts in our mind. It really does. I think back when I started in my career, I didn't have money. I had to learn how to make money. I had to learn how to be a good steward and invest money. And so the hope is that people will just look at that with curiosity and consider, what would it be like if money loves me? And then how do I start learning more and leaning more into, the knowledge and the power that we have and can take control of our financial future.
Right. So let's now come to your book itself. Money Loves Money. When did you plan to write this book, and what came into your? What was the inspiration? Means what was the thing that you wanted to share with people, and who is this book for? Is it for people who have money, or is it for people who have no money?
Well, that's really good. So, about a year ago, I started thinking about writing this book, and it really came to me quite easily. I think, in my career, seeing so many people stuck with money, I'll never get out of debt. I'll never have enough money. All of these mindsets that people and stories that people are stuck in. That is who I wanted to write this book for. I will say it's for the people that have had maybe some uh they've made some money mistakes. Maybe they haven't started investing for their future and they're later in life or midlife. So I would say, I wrote this book for I, I thought it's going to be more of that generation X, that midlife, maybe millennials. They start thinking about, gosh, I have to get my financial life in order. And it could be that traditional ways, like, hey, go on a budget and um, like rule based financial, which is the way a lot of authors write money books. Hey, follow these steps and you will get to the riches. Where my book is more about understanding your money journey, your experiences. If you have or shame or fear, it's really about helping you understand and come to peace with your past and set yourself up for success. And what I love about my book is that it extends grace to all those past mistakes and meets the reader where they're at and really empowers them to make their own boundaries, their own path to financial freedom. Because we all have different ways that work for us, and we all spend our money differently based on our values. And so it's really encouraging the reader to lean into that and figure out what it is for them and chart their own path to financial independence.
Right, own path to financial independence, Julia. But you talk about this anti-budget framework. If you do
Yeah.
not have a anti-budget, then you do not have a budget. Then how do you plan to be to save money enough to invest enough money? How does that that healthy relationship money? Where do you then start with if you do not have a budget? What is the alternative to not having a budget?
Yeah. So the way I think about that is to understand your values, understand how you spend your money. So maybe just a good exercise is look back 30 days and say, where did all my money go? Because if I looked at that, I could tell by not knowing you what you value. Do you value having a good time out with friends, eating out? Do you have a big car payment? Maybe you value cars. And here's the deal, there's nothing wrong with how you spend your money. But my hope is that your financial future, maybe your children's financial future, becomes something that you value. I think oftentimes we disconnect from who we're going to be and what they're going to need in the future. So we don't put that as a priority. But for me, financial independence is important. So I know that I need to save and invest first, because that's going to get me to where I want to be, where my family wants to be, for the choices that we want to make in the future. And so that becomes a priority in how I spend my money, because I've really looked at what I value. So the anti budget is like trying to turn budgeting upside down and think about, how do I want to spend my money? and then aligning that with actually how you spend your money, meaning, what you value, you get to spend money on. And my hope is that financial independence and a strong financial future is in that value bucket, if that makes sense.
Yes, indeed, Julia. So, in terms of what you value for a young person, their today is what they value. They
Yeah.
want to live today, and there is this whole concept about FOMO, fear of missing out. So you
Yeah.
don't want to miss out today just for planning for the future. How should you want to tell them about balancing both the things? Many a times, in the when you are very young, you want to live for today and miss out on the future. Whereas if you only look at the future, you miss out on today, and then you later regret you did not live those moments, when it mattered. What
Yeah.
would your advice be? Someone who is starting their career, who is very young, 20, 25 years, or 30 years of age.
Yeah. That's really good because I think it is the magic is in the moment. We have to be present for today, and I think this way of spending money, like, yes, you want to spend money on things that matter, and you want to have a very rich life today. And crazy enough, it doesn't cost very much to put money aside for the future. Like when I started investing, it was $25 a month. And then gradually over time, as I made more money, I increased that each month. So people think it's, oh, I have to save so much money for tomorrow or for the future, but it doesn't. It's not. Actually, the younger you start, the less you have to start saving. So I think it leads with education. So if a young person knows, hey, I'm just going to save $100 a month now for my future, and we can project and say, hey, this is what it's going to be, to get them motivated to do that, to think, get them to start thinking about like what that could mean for them in the future and turn that FOMO into JOMO, the
Right,
joy of missing out.
right.
Yeah, but they don't, but I would say they don't, it's not about a huge sacrifice. If they start young, it's just a little bit that they're putting aside for their future. So, I think it's with it leading with that education is really important.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of people talk about healthy relationship with money. What are the different type? Do we have a toxic relationship with money? Do we have
Mm.
a negative relationship money? How do I establish a healthy relationship with money? Does healthy relationship mean that you think about money all the time, think about abundance all the time, and then money will come? But abundance mindset can also lead to you wasting time thinking that in future you will earn money or the money will come at your doors. You open, like Santa Claus will leave money at your door. So how does that work?
Well, I think a couple things. I think it starts with awareness. So 95% of our thoughts that we have are in our subconscious. Like we don't even know that we're having them. So in my book, I take people through an exercise of understanding what are their thoughts around money. Are they negative? I call them wealth busters. Like, I'm
Right.
not good enough. I'm not smart enough. Money overwhelms me. I'll never have enough money. Those are all wealth busters. And so I think it's important to understand what thoughts we do have and have that awareness to them, and then you can start being curious of where were those planted? Like what's that earliest memory around money, and does that have anything to do with those thinking? Um, and if it does, honor that it served you up until this point in your life, but is it true? And does it have to be true for your future? And I think the key to get out of that is the gratitude. Like this served me. Like for me, it was this feeling that I'm not good enough. But that feeling actually served me in my drive for building my business to prove myself. And so even though that didn't land me at this abundant mentality, it got me to where I needed to be when I could then transform that mindset to say, no, I am good enough. I am worthy, which then creates even more abundance coming in. And here's the thing, this is not like woo woo, I'm going to just sit here and think about abundance is going to happen. No. It actually
That's right.
happens in walking the steps, like walking, having a financial plan and taking action. Imperfect action a lot of times, but it is in that action. So financial freedom, I like to say financial freedom can happen in an instant, and it's yours the moment that you create a financial plan for your future and you start taking steps down that plan, like you start going down that road. Because in the discipline of putting money aside, in the discipline of having a financial plan, is where you find financial freedom. And so you don't have to have a whole bunch of money to have freedom. You just have to know where you're going and and take the steps that's necessary to get there.
Right, right, Julia. You talk about freedom number. What is this freedom number that one can start with?
Yes. So your freedom number is that number, a financial number that is what you need for your specific life or your family's life that creates financial independence. So it could be. I mean, it used to be back in the day, people were always looking for the $1 million. Once I have $1 million, I can
Right.
retire. Well, nowadays, $1 million will not fund a retirement. And so it's important to understand what your lifestyle is. And then there's a formula in my book that I walk readers through to help you determine what is the number that should be for you. Should it be 2 million, 3 million? And then again, it doesn't happen overnight, but it's a lifetime to figure out how do you build assets over time to get to that number, to then I like to say you turn on the income. So instead of reinvesting, which is what happens to get to that number, you turn on distribution, you turn on income from your portfolio that creates an income stream that satisfies your lifestyle.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, if you can show that book once again, Julia, for the audience, and also tell them what this book can do for them.
Yeah, so this book, Money Loves You, it's available on Amazon. It allows you to examine that relationship with money, understand those mindsets that may not be serving your future self, your future financial self, and replace those mindsets with wealth beliefs. Like, so I have a whole process of doing that. And then the back half of the book is the actual practical steps that you need to take to start investing, to start building your net worth, to start building towards your financial independence. So a reader can read that and kind of understand how to go through that process. And it's basically what I've done over 25 years of building my personal net worth to over 8 figures.
Wonderful. There is much to learn from you about money, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, learn more about your book, about your company, and get your help there. So, what's the best way for them to do so, Julia?
Sure. So they can go to my personal website, which is Julia M as in money, Carlson.com.
Right.
You can also find me there. You can find all my socials. I love to connect with people over social media. So find me there. And then my company's website is financialfreedomwmg.com.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.